out of here. We do not have the rights to the music.
That's the opening for my...
So hey, last time I was trying to do it with a song, Facebook stepped in and cut the keys, and they said, you don't have the rights to music.
Okay, I think that's enough of the song.
Nice. Did you eat? Yeah. We've been eating all day.
I think that's enough of the song.
Let's do this.
Can I have my tablet?
It's up
Oh,
there.
I just made it 3 people watching. Are you watching it too?
No, it's on my phone.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
That's not a bad lag time at all. Usually it's like 30 seconds behind. Let's bring it over.
You bring it over.
Whoa, bro.
Get a little reckless around here.
Wow. It's good to be king, huh? Jeez.
It's good to be the king.
Guy gets a crown and he starts freaking kicking shit around.
Classic.
Daddy, look for my Lunchable.
She's got headphones on and she's opening up a Lunchable. She has no idea how loud she is. Hey, Daddy, look! Reese's Pieces, bro! All right, here we are. One more episode in the books. Welcome to Shark Frenzy here at Judd's RC Motorsports. As with me always, I have one of my closest friends, Rich Levac. Rich was able to snatch his crown back last weekend. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
You didn't clap for him. Yeah, he did a good job. We got a cash days coming up soon. So I'm going to try and maybe get one more show in and then probably have to take a break on the shows for a week or two. Unless I get in the mail what I'm waiting for. Then we'll go ahead and proceed around the same time. So in the next week and a half, 2 weeks or so, there's going to be some big stuff coming, guys. It's going to be really awesome. So I want to give my shout outs always to Shark Peterson, Paul Peterson at Shark RC Bodies. Paul's been working fervorously, getting everything. He's just about caught up, and he's just doing his thing, and he works hard. So I want to give a shout out to Paul. SharkRCBodies.com, Shark RC Bodies on Facebook. If you're just getting into the sport and you're looking for a good body to go fast, go check out Shark. They've really caught on. So I want to give a huge shout out to Dave Enstrom and Chris Vieira over at DE Racing Tires. Great product. I run it on all my cars. All my cars have DE tires, and they work really good for me. I feel like I made a good decision going with this company. I think they're going places, and more places in the near future. So I want to give a huge shout out to Steve Villanueva of R1. Badass stuff about to happen. We got one thing that we want to show tonight that kind of just came out, and I just started getting them and soldering them in and stuff and like that. So it's the smallest of what's to come from R1 this year. So it's still a pretty cool product. I'll be using it in my race car. We had the winner of the Judd's RC Motorsports 1500 raffle last night, and the gentleman that won it was Rodney Gilvin. So Rodney, if you're watching, if you see this package to you with the 2 sets of tires and foams and 4 brand new DE rims and the hat and the shirt and the lanyard from Lake, which is where he holds his crown, will all be coming to you come Monday. So we'll get that out, shipped priority. I see that. She's making baloney faces. So back in the day, I was a really big reader of RCCA, and anybody who's been into this knows that RCCA is radio controlled car action. They've been around since the 80s. It used to be the RC Bible. You got it every month. I was subscribed to it all through my teen years and my 20s. And it was, half inch to probably 5/8 thick, and it was like it was our Sports Illustrated for RC cars. And before we had the internet, that's kind of what we did. And they've gotten a little smaller since then, but they're still rocking and rolling, and because everything's gone online now. But I picked up, for some of you old timers out there, or maybe just anybody who wants to check it out, I got this month's RC car action at Jake's Performance Hobbies. And it has a full 3D printed, I think it's, I don't know, I haven't read the whole article yet. It's either 1/10 or SCT sized 3D printed DeLorean. Everything lights up, the flux capacitor goes. It's just a sweet, it's a sweet build. So go pick yourself up a copy of the latest RCCA. And I've been thinking about that too. It's like, because I know RCCA is still a big company, but like when the internet came, that must have really like thrown out, like papers are like, you guys are going to do what? You know what I'm saying? Like newspapers and magazines and stuff. And I know magazines, the big magazines like RCCA and Sports Illustrated and National Geographic, I know they're still being, released and they're still doing their thing, but I mean, it's just like the
internet and social media and all of that. Yeah.
So, again, support a company that's been around for 35 years. There's always some awesome stuff, and you can always catch cutting-edge ads in here. So there's already been 2 or 3 ads just thumbing through this thing of stuff that I didn't know was out there, which is hard to believe because I'm in the RC community pretty hard, and I see just about everything. But, there's always something else. So, Rich, let's talk about R1 products real quick. What's been your, I know you're dabbing a little bit in some trkin, and you're doing a little bit of R1. And what's been your experience with R1? Because you started out with the XR10 Pro, right? Which is a great speed control.
It is.
Yeah.
It's great. You just can't pull the amps through it.
Okay.
As we're pulling now. So, like everything, it advances.
Well,
the R1, I like the programmability with it. It's just the way we're running the cars now. You don't need all that power. It's nice to have it all, but it gives plenty of power. Yeah. So you can tune it in better. I do the trkin and the RX-8, and I like the fact that it's just all set up. You don't have to go into it. Yeah. But I mean,
I love their tuning. I think the tuning works as good as like Hobbywing, because Hobbywing's got their software down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just as good as I mean, it's right there with Hobbywing as far as easability of use, and accuracy. If it's just kind of like boom, 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 boom. Even my Hobbywing stuff, like when I first connect to it, would kind of search for a minute and search, and then it wouldn't go through, so you'd have to do it again. It would search again. My R1, I click it once, it's on. You know what I'm saying? I really, really like the R1s. I switched over to R1s over a year ago, just because of what Rich just said. I was one of the first ones to really get along with Charlie. I can never pronounce his last name. We'll just call him Charlie from the 707. Charlie Shinuka, I don't want to murder his last name. I forget it. I forget how to pronounce his last name. I've only said his last name like 2 or 3 times to him, to his face, and I've known him for the guy for like 5 years. So Charlie helped me with some of the tuning and answering some of the questions that I had like 4 years ago when I first started doing the XR10 Pro stuff, and I kind of combined what I learned with him with some stuff I was doing, and I really got those XR10 Pros just really working. And then I helped a lot of people, and everybody was breathing down my throat, and I was going to races going, dude, I can't put any more timing into it. If I go another tooth on my pinion here, I'm going to melt this thing down, Yeah. So I had to go for the next level. And when I started pushing the XR10 Pros that hard, only being 160 amp, that's when I started popping them. And they're a great speed control, but it got to the point to where I had like 8 XR10 Pros, and I was popping one every 3 weeks or every 2 weeks, and it would take me a month to get one back. So it was, I kind of had to do something. So I did jump ship from Hobby Wing, and I went to R1. And it's just been a great ESC. The Digital 3 is just, it's one of the best on the market, you know, along with the DRK and the trkin, you know, RX8 and stuff. But the R1, going places. I'm telling you, we're going a lot of places. So I just wanted to show anybody who's been ordering motors from R1 probably knows that, you know, you don't, some of the mods come with this stuff, which it can. And some of them come with this really cool carrying case, and it, you know, it's got a little medallion on it that says R1. It's a pretty cool little case, and you open it up, and there's, you know, a little net in there for your sheets or whatever you might want to keep with that specific motor. But these are kind of cool things. So some of their motors are coming with these. I'm sure you can buy them separately from Steve if you got a hold of them. For drag racing, I'm going to show you guys tonight, basically this isn't so much a tech video, is I'm going to show you the parts that you would purchase to make, thank you baby, she found a tie rod end. The parts that you would purchase to make what I have in my car, which runs extremely well right now. I'm so happy with my, what's up to Mark Vine and Bob Vine, they've been killing it with parts lately. And this car is just so fast that these guys really brought it to the next level. So I'm going to show you guys how I am running off-the-shelf stuff that you can just go buy, and with a little bit of patience and tuning it and understanding what's going on, which is very easy to do, you too can be running, you know, some of these times. It's really powerful stuff. So this is a R1 V16 3.5 all-out drag build. And this motor, I mean, it's got a hell of a magnet in it. You can barely turn it, but this is a brand new 3.5. If you want all their fancy stuff, their ceramic bearings, everything, that's what this motor is. It's definitely well worth the money. This is what's sitting in the Corleone. This is what I run in my mid-motor car, my fastest car. So, and I will say I have 3 or 4 cars, and my Corleone is by far, it's just a murderous beast with this power setup in it. So this is the same motor. I tweak my M-bell screws a little bit. Just to final adjust the poles, and I set my timing on my motor analyzer the way I want it, and away she goes. She bolts in and she goes. So great product. R1 is known for being in off-road and on-road sedan racing and stuff like that, and they're known for really low amp draw, high output motors. And I got to tell you, dude, I mean, Famtom makes great motors, but on my, after I get 5 Famtom motors, and I pick the best one after analyzing them, and I'd go out and I'd be doing 430, 440, 450 amp draws on these things. You know what I'm saying? And it was, some of the stuff was just like, wow, that's a lot of amp draw, And I put this R1 motor in the same car, and it gear it right. It's the same speed and doing the same thing as a Famtom, and it was doing like 270. So that was my personal experience with the R1. It's one of the reasons why, knowing their background in other big areas of racing, and then seeing for myself through the data, because the data doesn't lie, that the stuff was super efficient. I was like, yes, that's what I want. So this is the motor. You can go on their website. I don't know if he's got motors in stock right now, if they're coming in at the beginning of the week, but we keep, he'll buy, I don't know, whatever he does, 1,000, 2,000, whatever, and within a couple, just like everybody else right now, a couple days, they're gone, So I don't...
Well, I saw they were on there, and then I went on, and they were sold out.
And they were gone that way. Yeah.
I couldn't get a...
It's because they're great motors, so go check those out. So... if I was going to power the Corleone and there was nothing in the Corleone, this is basically what it would take to get to what's in this car. So you got the 3.5 R1, and then I got 2 strands from Jake's Performance Hobbies in Roanoke Park, 707-586-3375. They ship to lower 48 and all of your drag racing and RC needs. But this is just some 10 gauge, and because anybody who can go back on Funky Monkey Judd, also guys, please remember to go and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how we get it bigger, and eventually we can go, if it gets big enough, we can go live right from YouTube. if you go back to my YouTube video where I did soldering, so basically what it started out as, oh, that's kind of turned into, it started out as just, here's your stock R1 with your 12 gauge wire and your stock cap pack. And here's all your R1 hardware and your fan and stuff. And then this is the new 60 gram cap pack from R1. They make a 60, they make a 30. Even the 30 one is great for drag racing, but the 60 one I've had a lot of luck with recently, just kind of running it out front and stuff like that. From what I've seen, it's very promising. And it's an R1 product, so... oh, the wrong way, right? It's only been out for about a week. I've already had a couple people get a hold of me and said, hey, I ordered one of those, got it in the mail, I really like it. And it is, I'll show you here in a minute when we rip the body lid off the Corleone, how this was designed. This was designed to equal the weight of the ESC so that when they're mounted right next to each other, they kind of proportion themselves out, which is kind of what I needed in the Corleone, because the other pack that I had in it, like say this cap pack was the motor and my ESC was here, and I had the cap pack, the design of it, or the shape of it was different than this round one, and it wasn't any better or less better or anything because of it. It's just a different shape, and it was just kind of double-sided tape to the back can of the motor, and it was, you know, the speed control was always kind of offset, and then I had the big 10 gauge wires over here, and it never was a very balanced, you know, and that's kind of my fault for setting it up like that, but I was also trying to achieve something else by setting it up like that. But anyway, this is meant to equal the weight out of the ESC, backed by the R1 ESC. That's another thing too, is I like to run, you know, company stuff, so their motor and their ESC and their cap pack, and now I'm able to do that with R1. So there's a lot of good cap pack companies out there, guys, you know, there's Flashbacks by Milo Carvalho. You know, I was with him for a long time. He makes a great, I still have his packs in one or two of my cars. My daughter's car's got it. My other rear motor car's got it. But the Corleone's got full R1 now, these are just great cap packs. So when you buy these products, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get if this is what you want to do. You want to get the ESC, you want to get the 3.5, you want to get some 10 gauge, and you want to get one of the R1 capacitor packs. And what you're going to turn that into is this is a done one. So this has the R1 cap pack comes with a 3D printed mount for this, and it will literally just mount right next to the ESC, and now they're of equal weight, and they can be, you know, centered in the chassis and balance each other. So this speed control is the one that we did in the video that's on Funky Monkey Judd. It's just a backup. Again, I'm still running my R1 from a year and a half ago, and I've never needed any of my backup ESCs because I have the tuning down pat. And with a little time and patience, and maybe even some help from me, if you guys want to reach out and you're running R1, I can help you, put you on the path that will be a very powerful path to run, but at the same time be good on your equipment. So but yeah, with the 3D printed mount, it's all made to mount right next to each other, and I got the 10 gauge wire on it with the connector I'm using, yeah, which is the EC5. I like the EC5. Some guys like the yellow ones. I like the EC5s. I know what's the yellow one called? The yellow connector, like the big yellow connectors for the battery.
Oh,
The XT90s. Yeah, the XT90s. They work great. They're great connectors. I just think the color of them is freaking ugly. It's school bus yellow, you know. I think that's the only reason why I'm running these is because these are blue, you know. But they're actually so close. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can plug this into one of the XT90s.
Yeah, but wasn't this
or...
for your cat pack?
No, this isn't on this one. That was just that one I soldered up.
Oh, I got you.
This is to the battery, and these are to the motor. Yeah. It's ready to go. So, so what we're gonna do is once you've purchased the wire and the cat pack and the ESC, you can make this assembly out of it. And once you have this assembly, it is Then, like I said before, when I get this motor from Steve, I'll go through it and put my own timing and then retweak. Just kind of work on everything a little bit till it's all the poles are as close as they can be, and I got the power coming out that I want. And then all this stuff is ready to get put in. So, what that looks like. Hear that magnet?
I think there's something stuck in your motor.
Watch when it stops, dude. The magnet will yank it back. Oh, we didn't do it that time. That's what happened at Cots for me. So I staged the car, and I was ready. I got back and I was ready to go. And he said, "Dan, you fell out of stage." And I walked back up and I pushed it forward, and it came back on me again. I was like, "Oh, it's the magnet." So I had to lump it forward one and then drag the car back a little bit. So this is my Team Losi 22 5.0 DC Elite car that has been turned into. Can I see your phone so I can see some questions?
Remember, you got to tap on the screen.
Yeah.
Not really any questions so far.
Okay.
Somebody did say change their mind and prove that the R1 is better than the RX-8.
What do you mean?
Proved because they run RX-8.
Oh, okay.
It's in there, the post is in there.
Yeah, if somebody wants to run a different speed control, that's
Yeah. I run both, and I like both. I just new to the Tekken.
Vincent, that's a conversation I would like to have in close quarters. I think Trkin makes a great product.
Oh, it does.
I think McLaren makes a great product. I think everybody makes great products. I think that the top 3 or 4 that are in the sport make great products. But there's things that I like about the R1 that are just, the programming easeability, the dashboard, the way it displays the live data PIDs.
Right.
I like the R1. It's got a smooth throttle response. It's got plenty of softening values. So if I got to dial the car back down a little bit. There's a lot of, and it has one of the highest, probably the highest amp rating on the market other than an RX-8.
Right.
There's also some, I don't know if it was just me or whatever, but the one I played with, it had boost, and then we did that update on your car, and it had turbo because that was their new thing. But whenever we turned the turbo up, the boost would come down. So it was like one or the other,
Right.
And I don't know if maybe I was using it wrong or whatever, but that's kind of what I figured out about it. And I'm not a big fan of Trkin's tuning.
I haven't played with it. I haven't gotten into it. Just what you have put into it.
Yeah,
so.
And it's a nice unit. I think that the awesome thing about the RX-8 is you probably can't blow it up because it's rated for 1,000 amps max, and you can put all the power you want through it, which is awesome, especially when these guys like Mark Vine and stuff are figuring it out with a lower motor.
Well, last Sunday I started low and I just kept adding power to it, and the thing just kept holding it.
It just kept going and
going.
The cool thing I've found that I feel personally about the mid-motor cars is I can do more with less. So, not saying that I need that, but where I'm like pushing something all the way in a rear motor car to where it's just like screaming demon all the time, I can back that down and have a car that's just as fast in one of these setups because it just feels like the mid-motor car. I don't know what it is about it. It's just snappier. It travels down its lane differently.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that has something to do with a lot of other stuff that's on the car. But I don't know. For my mid-motor stuff, my R1 just seems to love it. It's just a screaming demon. I hit RPM and power and stuff in this motor that is just freaking awesome. So. Yeah, but I would love to have a conversation with Vincent. And like I said, all the companies, and I'll admit they're all good.
You can get a fast car with anything that's.
But
really
you'll have like one brand and go, yeah, but our softening steps or whatever. It's like, well, okay, they all, if you know how to tune them, they all have a softening value. They all have a way to do that,
Yeah.
So they're all. And I think that Trkin's figuring the stuff out with the turbo and stuff from the RX-8. You guys got to remember that was an add-on for the R8. The RX-8 was meant to do, I believe, like 8-scale buggies, like that big electric one I got up there, and stuff like that. And then people noticed that you know, the power handling of them, and they're like, well, let's try that, you know, but it didn't quite have the tunability, and that's what trkin's doing now, is they're trying to dump that tunability into the software, which is pretty cool. I personally, I love R1. I mean,
it's a small package.
It's a small package. It's a powerful package. It's a smooth package. It's an accurate and precise package. That's pretty much, you know, it's one of those things. It's a Chevy and Ford thing. You know, it's just, you know, what do you like? You know, I mean, if your buddies are all running DRKs and you want to get a DRK, you're you know, a free American. You can go buy a DRK
but they're fast too. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying is it doesn't matter what you get. You're gonna be fast out there. It's what you prefer.
So this is basically this setup right here, off the shelf R1 stuff that's in this car, and you can see the capacitor bank there. And this thing just flies. This thing's a rocket. I just got my brass bulkhead from Mark. Actually, I can't even say Mark because the actual package said Bob Vine. So she's got a Savox servo, an R1 Digital 3. She's got the new 60 cap. She's got a 3.5 that's been tweaked by me. You know, she's got your standard losi stuff that you need to run drags. You know, she's got the aluminum idler, and she's got the gear diff, and she's got a long bar on her that works really good. So Jake's Performance Hobbies bar. I really like these bars. He's done some really nice carbon fiber stuff. It's simple. It's strong.
Jake's Performance Hobbies.
707-586-3375. Located in your northern metropolitan area. So that's kind of just what I wanted to kind of show off tonight, guys, was just the R1 capacitor. It's just an awesome little add-on to the R1. I think that this is all I'm going to need for me. If somebody wants to run a bigger one, that's okay with them. They want to go with a different brand, that's okay. But I like to stick with, you know, brand on brand whenever I can, because this stuff was designed to walk hand in hand. It was all rhyming. Did you see that? It was, though. It was designed to work with each other, you know. So, we got any other? No, these Jesse don't have bands in them. Those are in a couple other sets that I have. And I just haven't gotten there yet. I've just been, you guys, my house is just torn apart in boxes right now. I have naked walls in my house that have had pictures on them for 9 years, and there's nothing on them right now. And it just, like, it's kind of setting in. Okay, we're doing this. We're moving. So, I was going to switch to metal spurs, but I couldn't get the spur I wanted in a 56. And I went with the only thing that they made was the 54. What was the main reason that I didn't go with the metal one?
Metal and aluminum?
No, that wasn't it, because I got a hardened steel spur on it. I had to, even with the 56, I had to do some modifications. I had to take the plate off, and I had to router out the motor slots and move it back. But even then, the motor only moves so far back because it hits the tranny spine, the waterfall that goes down and bolts to the tranny, to the chassis. So I had to Dremel it out a little bit to get a little bit more, you know, play out of the motor slots. Because the 56, even though it's you know, way lower gears than the 81, but they're bigger teeth. So 56 is, you know, just as big, if not bigger, probably bigger. I think it's bigger than the 81 I was using. But my gear problems, I just
don't say it.
I can't say anything
Don't
yet.
say it.
I can't say anything yet. So, yeah, this is all. I'll just say this is all temporary for right now. I went out and ran this car and put it to the wood last weekend when he was racing for his crown, and did some test hits on it, and I didn't blow up a spur gear for once, so that was nice. It sounds cool. It sounds like a '64 Ford Falcon with a gear drive in it.
Yeah, but you didn't wood the thing either.
No, I didn't super wood it, which we will next weekend, because next weekend I'll be at a place where we can run prep on her, and yeah. But it works very well. I don't want to be running 32 pitch. I want to be running 48, but we're putting so much power through this car that the 48 pitch, what's on the market right now, isn't just, it won't handle the power. And people are like, well, did you measure it right? Did you do this? I'm like, man, I've been doing this for so long. I'm talking, I got $400 into figuring out this gear problem, and no matter what I do, whether it's Kimbrough or Associated or losi, the spur gears, no mesh, loose mesh.
It just takes the teeth right off of it.
It doesn't strip them, guys. It melts the gears. Yeah. It throws cobweb of spur gear inside my car. It's ridiculous. So, we've gotten rid of some of that. I don't have to put cooling fans on my gears now. It's running really good. And, there's guys out there, that are running just as fast as this car or even faster, and they're running 48 pitch and they don't have a problem. I don't know what it is. Maybe that R1 I got's just a freaking animal,
That's even changing out your slipper too, huh? To carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's all carbon fiber, and you know what? It never, see, that's the thing is, it never happens off the line. It always happens when that last kit comes in at like 115, 110, somewhere in there. Remember that? They did 2 consecutive runs that day, and one was against you in the semifinals, and you advanced because I lost a spur gear in it. 100 feet, my car just went, what? Nope, I don't want to do it anymore. And we threw the. So I don't. When it comes to a part in a car that is consistently failing, when it gets to the point where it even gets you close to start losing races, you're not doing nothing but playing Russian roulette in the car. Yeah. So it's just time to jump on that and act fast and find another product that does a better job and trying to eliminate that problem. So that's what we're doing right now. And like I said, this is all just, I still have probably $200 worth of brand new spur gears. I'm just like, why put them on? They're just going to strip, So I'll probably end up selling those.
Well, at least we learned that for my car.
Yeah, Jesse, that's what's in the tires I'm going to be practicing with next weekend and trying out are the Graham bands. I really like that the gentleman that I talked to. Looks like RC Bombshells is making bands. Yeah, PJ, PJ Bruner's. That's what I was getting when I went off. I monologue on my shows so easily, because I want to explain stuff to guys, I did. I have a metal spur, and the thing looks wicked. You look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm running that. That's just an apple grinder right there. But I just I decided to. Because these gears are $30, and I don't know what's going to happen when I put them on. I know I'm not going to strip teeth off, but when you have that metal on metal, with a big loose pitch like this, you're going to see some carnage, especially if you get anything in it. I see, and $30 spur gears is one thing, but I did have a stack of these Pro Lines, and they're $5.99 a piece. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They do not fit directly onto the losi. The hole is a little bit bigger to where you can get lateral movement in the top shaft. But I used the aluminum foil tape that I used that I showed in my my tire video that I cover my weights in after I'm done balancing a tire. I cut a little tiny piece of strip that was about 3/16 wide. I put the first plate on. I've put the clutch pad in the back of the spur, and I ran this aluminum tape on the top shaft around it one time, and it perfectly centered it. And I just put all the parts together, and it's centered. And then I locked down my slipper. I don't run any slippers, so I don't want my slippers to. It's just too big of a variance for me. Some guy might go out and get his slipper running just perfect. The thing's just tits. It's working great. And you're only going to be able to slip that thing a couple times, yeah. And then it's going to change. So I don't. I'd rather set the car up to leave softer on a launch out the hole rather than deal with an inconsistency of a slipper. And I'm not saying it's wrong to use one. If you want to use a slipper, that's fine. And some people might say slippers are just fine or whatever. There's always that guy out there. You know what I'm saying? This is just what I do on my cars, guys. So don't take anything to heart. But yeah, the 32 pitch stuff has been pretty strong so far. So, do I have any pictures of the new shark body? No. I don't know what the Shell Nova spurs are. I'll have to look into those. Freddie LeBlanc. What's up, David? Jesse Hernandez. David. I always screw this guy's name up. Chichizola.
I was wondering that
And
too.
PJ, we'd already said what's up to PJ. And Brandon Small. What's up, Brandon?
So if we're locking down our slippers,
Yeah.
why not just do a lockout so you don't have a slipper?
Well, I looked into those, okay, and they make one for losi. I believe I could be wrong, but I think it's losi that makes it. And but it requires a new top shaft, okay, which means the ones I have in stock for backups are no good, okay. And then once you use that top shaft and the hub for it, the hub you have to use that brand's spur gears too, because they're a 3-hole design, which I guess you probably could transfer that into other gears. But anytime you have to start doing different steps to modify a spur gear, is more and more of a window to have something just be slightly off. You know what I'm saying? You're absolutely right. There, I none of my cars, my rear motor cars, my mid motor car, I don't run a slipper on any of them,
I mean, it's locked down as tight as you can go.
You're
if
right.
you can eliminate
You're
that,
right.
if you're not using it, eliminate it. That's one less fail.
I just wish they didn't
spot.
have that 3-hole design.
Or
'Cause
how
then you
much
have-
does it actually? Does it slip a little? Does it?
Yeah.
Does it really? Even though you lock it all the way down, does it really slip a little?
I think they do. I have my spring. I have a heavier spring on my input shaft,
Mm-hmm.
and I have it completely collapsed and the nut locked down on my top shaft, and I think it still slips it. It still does. And I got carbon fiber discs and not much. I think it's probably half track when that second kick kicks in.
Fully planted with some traction.
So, Freddie, does this shell kit come with, is it a lockout system that you're talking about? I don't know. It might take him a minute to chime in on that. I know there's a lag. But, yeah, so we're doing it. We're going to pack all this crap up. And we're going to bring it to a new facility that's so much nicer of a house for my daughter. And it's going to be a lot nicer studio too. So, Freddie says they have slippers and lockout kits. Okay, I'll have to look into those, Freddie. Yeah, because I'm always a fan. Anything centrifugally or rotating mass inside of a gearbox that I can eliminate weight with. That's always a good idea, as long as you're not compromising a whole lot of strength.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still needs to be strong.
Yeah. So I was playing with this GNS last night,
Oh, you were.
and she was packing a box in her room, and I was laying on the bed, and I was playing with the app, and then I put my phone down, and we played for a little bit or something like that, and then I came back out here, and all the lights were off, and my car was sitting right here, and it had a green and a white light inside the hood, and I was like, what the?
You forgot to turn it off.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. Freddie said it's stout. You will not melt the shell gears. Are they made of real seashell?
How do we contact them? Your website?
I only need to get a little while longer on these gears, and then I'm good. So I just can't say anything. This car has just been awesome. It took a while to get. I think that this mid-motor car, especially this one right here, is so much more adjustable than, say, a Traxxas-based rear motor car, which means that there's much more of a learning curve. And just about anything you know about a rear motor car, about half of it doesn't apply to
Apply,
this thing.
yeah.
So, it was a learning curve, but once you get it, it's like all of a sudden you're like, yes,
Yeah, But you know what's cool is what applies onto these rear motor cars or mid motor cars. I've been applying some of that to the rear motor and making it react differently.
But yeah, so that's the R1 cat pack mounted in the chassis. Like I said, guys, I say this to a lot of guys a lot of times. Take your time and wire stuff really nice. Make sure nothing's moving around. Maybe you can get a close up on this. This thing's wired pretty darn decently. So everything's double-sided taped down. Remember, no zip ties, guys. Nothing like that. Always try and use like the weight of the ESC against something to just kind of hold a wire in place, or and it just makes for a nice and tidy little install. So, but other than that, here's a picture of this capacitor back. If you're interested in getting one. Says it does 2S to 4S. Yeah, it says it right there. So that's the new R1 cap. Available at your local Walmart. Now you can get these at r1.com, or just go and put R1 Wurks. Just remember that Wurks is spelled W-U, not W-O. And check out one of these. These things are awesome. So I couldn't believe how long it kept my car on for the other night. I was like, "Wow, did you see that, dude?" It didn't turn off. So
yeah, it went so far it beeped. Didn't your ESC beep?
Yeah, it started beeping. So
that's how much a cat pack could store some power.
Yeah. It definitely stores some power. But that's pretty much it, guys. Nice short show. I have, like I said, I'm very eager for some new stuff to come out, and it'll be applied to the shows directly, and possibly even released through the shows, which is good for the companies and good for the show and good for you guys and just kind of good for everybody. So I got some really good products that I really, really believe in, and look at that, when I push the middle of the chassis, the thing's like a wave. Yeah, she's an awesome car. So we'll go out and put some more miles on her next weekend. And I think that's pretty much it. What shocks are on the Jake Spar? So these are the shocks that I got from Vanishing Point. And these are Custom Works shocks. I don't remember the length of them, but they're Custom Works shocks. And then I found some really, really, really heavy springed old road race springs that I had I have a big spring kit, and I don't remember. I want to say the Custom Works ones were like 7 pounds or something like that, 7-pound springs, and those are the ones that we'd go out and test. And we finally started applying prep to this thing. It would just wad this car up. I mean, I had the collars all the way down, and maybe other people were getting them to work different ways or whatever, but I needed a bigger spring. So I put these, I think these are like 14 or 15 pound springs. If they're off the, even if they're not off the shock, if I pop the shock off the car, you almost can't. I mean, you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And it's still, once it's on the car, that leverage, I mean, it's soft. So that's why I went to the heavier springs, but they're just the Custom Works shocks. But that's a good question, Matt. Yeah, you guys, in the next week or so, next couple days, whenever, very soon, Jake will have all this stuff back in stock. We just sent that last car out to Florida. The guy ran it last night, and he called me. He's like, dude, I just did like 15 passes on this thing as straight as an arrow. You built me a really nice car. It was really good to hear. And he's having fun with it. So, yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game here, is for everybody to have fun.
Key.
So, yeah. And then I guess he contacted me today. He's like, dude, I finally went out and raced it. I need more power, dude. And I'm like, okay, well, where's your tune at? He's like, well, I got the tune that, you let me know. I'm like, okay, something's going on. Then he messaged me back and he goes, he's like, dude, I never calibrated it. So I was only at like 50% power. So it recalibrated and he went out and ran. He's like, holy crap, bro. He's all this thing's so freaking fast. I'm like, I know, I told you, dude. That's not a light tune. You know, you better be paying attention when you launch it because if she gets away from you, she's going to go on vacation, you know?
Yeah.
So, really, really happy that this gentleman's happy with this car, as are all the other cars I built across the nation. They're still winning races. Every car I ever built is still winning races. So the reason why we use the longer wheelie bar is it seems to with the longer the bar. I mean, I remember I started out at 8s and then we went to 10s and now we're at 12s because the 12 between the center line and the center line is 15 inches, which is stock. I mean, which is the rule.
The rules.
But the longer the bar, it seems to soften up the launch. The car's not so violent, you know. It makes it track nice and straight and true, and I'm getting the same
more room to tune the bar too.
Much more room, bigger window. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing I'm getting out of the pan car wheels back here, as I'm getting a flatter surface, a wider surface, something that's more accurate. I mean, this is a much more accurate wheel than a Traxxas wheel. It's a race car wheel. So with all that kind of going on back here, and then some weight in the back and some weight in the front, kind of, weight right here is going to push down to see it's pushing down on it. So some tricks that Mark Vine taught me, on how to balance these cars right, and once he taught me A and B, C, D, E, F, G, all kind of fell into place. So car's working really good. Car's good. Car was fast. So, that's pretty much all we got for you guys tonight. Like I said, we got some big announcements to make coming up. I can't pull the trigger until someone hands me the gun. So, that's pretty much what I'm waiting on right now, with several different companies, really, really, really close. And it's killing me because I just can't wait to show you guys some of this stuff. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, gonna be really cool. Thanks for coming on tonight, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Judd's RC Motorsports always brought to you by Shark RC Bodies, and DE Racing and R1 Works, Jake's Performance Hobbies, all the great companies that back me and support me and stand behind me. My great compadre here, Rich Levac. This is perfect. My daughter who keeps me on my toes, Emma Judd, and good friends, Mark and Clay, and just all these guys I talk to during the week, and all the newcomers that I help out during the week. It just it keeps you going. So I like to stay busy. I'm a tinkerer. You guys have a good night too, and thanks for watching. And this concludes another episode. Short and sweet. We're going to do something pretty awesome in the next couple shows. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys later.
Later.
R1, baby.